Good evening, a warm welcome to State of Business RTV's Primetime News Bulletin. You're with me, Rukshi Panditaratna. Let's take a look at the headlines first. President arrives in Japan today to begin 5-day official tour, and DMC hosts a special press conference on prevailing weather conditions in the country. And today on Top Stories, President Maithripala Sirisena arrived in Japan today with the aim to further strengthen the long-standing bilateral relations between Japan and Sri Lanka.
President Maithripala Sirisena left the island on Saturday on official visits to India and Japan. In India, President Sirisena participated in the International Solar Alliance, which was held in New Delhi, and briefed the delegates about Sri Lanka's initiatives on solar energy. He also assured world leaders about Sri Lanka's strong commitment to support the alliance.
The energy crisis is a major problem faced by the people in Sri Lanka as well as by the people living in several developed and developing countries in the world. In Sri Lanka, we have already commenced a program called Surya Bala Sangramaya, that is a battle of solar power. Through this project, we expect to generate 1,000 megawatts of electricity by 2025.
President Maithripala Sirisena, after attending the founding conference of the International Solar Alliance, President Maithripala Sirisena met with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The Indian External Affairs Minister, Minister Nimal Siripal de Silva, and ambassadors of both countries took part in this meeting. Later, President Sirisena also met with Erik Solheim, the Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme. During this meeting, issues relating to environmental conservation, weather and climate change, and marine pollution were discussed. Upon successfully concluding the two-day official visit to India, President Sirisena and the Sri Lankan delegation were welcomed by a special delegation of the Government of Japan at the Narita International Airport in Tokyo today. During this visit, the President is scheduled to meet Emperor Akihito and Empress Michiko, and the official welcome ceremony for President Sirisena will be held at the Japanese Prime Minister's office on the 14th. Later, the President will hold bilateral discussions with the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. President Sirisena will also take part in a special business and investment conference, and the President of the Japan International Cooperation Agency as well as representatives of business organizations are scheduled to hold discussions with the Sri Lankan President.
The Disaster Management Centre held a special press conference this afternoon regarding the possibility of an emergency situation in the sea areas around the island.
The lower pressure area in the vicinity of Sri Lanka is now located to the south of Sri Lanka. It is likely to develop further and more to northwest toward the Arabian Sea. Fairly strong gusty wind up to 45 to 50 km per hour can be expected, particularly over North Central Province and in Kol and Mathura district. The fairly heavy rainfall, 75 to 100 mm, can be expected at some places, particularly in southern Uva and eastern province, and in Mathura, Polonnaruwa district also. Sudden increase of wind speed up to 70 to 80 km per hour. Wind speed can increase up to 50 to 60 kilometers at time in the sea area around the island. Therefore, fishermen are also advised not to enter into the sea area during next 36 hours. Naval communication are also requested to vigilant in this regard.
Now let's take a look at the weekly economic indicators released by the Central Bank of Sri Lanka last Friday. According to the CBSL, during the period, crude oil prices has largely followed a declining trend. At the beginning of the week, prices rose supported by robust demand forecasts. However, prices subsequently fell due to weaker share markets, soaring oil production and rising inventories in the US. Crude inventories in the US have risen by 2.4 million barrels last week, while US oil production marked a record high level at 10.37 million barrels per day. Furthermore, US oil and liquids production is forecasted to grow by 2 million barrels per day this year. Overall, both Brent and WTI prices fell by $0.9 per barrel and $1.3 per barrel respectively within the period. Meanwhile, the weekly average weighted prime lending rate ending 9th March 2018 declined by 40 bps to 11.03% compared to the previous week. The reserve money increase compared to the previous week was mainly due to an increase in currency in circulation. The total outstanding market liquidity decreased to a surplus of 40.75 billion rupees by end of the week compared to 46.81 billion rupees by the end of last week. Meanwhile, during the year up to 9th March 2018, the Sri Lankan rupee depreciated against the US dollar by 1.7%. Given the cross-currency exchange rate movements, the Sri Lankan rupee depreciated against the pound sterling by 4.2%, euro by 4.7%, Japanese yen by 6.9%, and Indian rupee by 0.2%. The gross official reserves were estimated at $7,914.3 million as at 28 February 2018. India, China, UK, Germany and France were the top 5 sources of tourist arrivals, accounting for 49.6% of total tourist arrivals up to the month of February 2018. Let's take a look at more news after this break. Welcome back. Addressing the media in Colombo today, the chairperson of Glaucoma Interest Group, Dr. Lalitha Senarath, stated that 64.03 million people are affected by glaucoma globally, and this can be increased to 76 million by 2020.
අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා ලංකාව පුරාම මේ වගේ රිසර්ච් එකක් ග්ලෝකෝමා රිසර්ච් එකක් කරලා අපිට කොච්චර කට්ටිය අපි මේ ග්ලෝකෝමා රෝගෙට ගොදුරු වෙලා තියෙනවද කියලා හොයාගන්න. එහෙම හොයාගත්තොත් විතරයි අපි ඒගොල්ලන් ප්‍රතිකාර කරලා අන්ධභාවය අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් අපේ පරමාර්ථයත් ඒකයි. ග්ලෝකෝමා රෝගයෙන් ඇති වෙන අන්ධභාවය නවත්තන්න. ලෝකයේ කරපු සංගණනය 2013 අනුව අපිට පෙන්නලා තියෙනවා සාමාන්‍ය ජනතාවගෙන් 3.54ක්. ඒ කියන්නේ 4කට ආසන්න පිරිසක් ග්ලෝකෝමා රෝගයට ගොදුරු වෙලා තියෙනවා අවුරුදු 40ත් 80ත් අතර ජනතාවගෙන්. එතකොට ග්ලෝකෝමා රෝගය වැළඳී ඇති ප්‍රමාණය මුළු ලෝකෙම ගත්තොත් මිලියන 64.3ක් ඉන්නවා ග්ලෝකෝමා රෝගය වැළඳී ඇති අය.
Now we have few more stories in brief. Raigam Tele's nomination evening was held in Colombo recently. The event was graced by the chairman of Raigam, Dr. Ravi Diyanage, and by professionals, senior artists and media personnel. The names of nominated artists for various awards at the Raigam Teles were declared at the event. An exhibition of paintings and drawings by Priya Gunatilaka was held in Colombo last weekend. This exhibition featured around 100 pieces of work painted with poster colors and gel pens on Ferragoni art paper and Canford cartridge paper. The exhibition showcased a varied genre of paintings and portrayed her dexterity. The self-taught artist Gunatilaka has been showcasing her work since 1972 with annual exhibitions of the Ceylon Society of Arts at the 90th Biennial de Sao Paulo and at Kalapola. Let's take a look at stocks after this break. Welcome back. Trading at the Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The All Share Price Index dropped 3.46 points to close at 6,547.73, and the S&P SL20 dropped 17.32 points to close at 3,681.25. The turnover was 540 million rupees and 23.6 million shares were traded. Let's take a look at today's forex rates. Thank you for watching State of Business. See you tomorrow at the same time. Till then, take care. Good night.